A miniature grinding wheel goes into a man's mouth. It quickly smooths out the teeth. Then the fingerprints are lasered away. Then the gold is dissolved into a liquid. A jet is used to tattoo a mark on the chest. That's how you officially become a member of the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle is the world's largest flower conglomerate. In order to further expand the market, Poppy, the boss, wanted to get rid of the agent Ace who was in the way. That night, Exie was stopped by Charlie, one of Poppy's men. He threatened Exie with a gun to get into the car, but he didn't expect to be attacked as soon as he opened the door. Exie told the driver to drive. The two of them fought in the narrow space. Charlie was obviously no match for him. The gun in his hand was useless. Exie saw the opportunity to unload the magazine and then kicked him out of the car. But Charlie had a mechanical arm, and he managed to get back into the car. Exie rushed to shoot at Charlie with his gun. Unfortunately, it was useless, but he took the pistol away from him. Exie was at a disadvantage. He used a concealed weapon, but was interrupted by Charlie's punch. The tip of the knife hit the driver. The car lost control and crashed into a stone pier. The arm fell off instantly. Charlie was also thrown out. Exie thought he was out of danger. He didn't realize that Charlie had reinforcements and surrounded Exie. Exie got into the driver's seat and pressed the button on the screen. It started the racing mode. The wrecked car was instantly transformed. Put it in D gear and hit the gas. The car actually moved horizontally. Exie demonstrated what car skills are. Although this operation is very good, but still did not lose the other side, only to see the enemy set up a Gatling. He started to shoot wildly at Exie. The barrel of the gun was almost smoking, but it missed him. The leader withstood the rain of bullets, led them to a deserted highway. Now it's time for him to counterattack. A missile appeared on the front of the car. It flew towards the enemy in a flash. After the crisis was over, Exie drove the car into the lake. All four wheels flipped at the same time and turned into a submarine and brought Exie back to the safe house. But what he didn't expect was that the leftover robot arm was activated remotely, hacked directly into their database, and stole Ace details. Poppy then attacked their compound. All the other agents were spared. Only Exie and Vaughn had escaped when they weren't at home. In order to find out who's behind this, they went to the emergency shelter and used the medallion to activate the doomsday plan, only to see the stone wall slowly moving. Behind it appeared a safe, but when they opened it, Vaughn was dumbfounded. Inside was a bottle of vodka. Disappointed, the two can only raise a glass to each other to honor their fallen teammates. When the bottle was almost finished, a string of words on the bottle caught Exie's attention. They followed the clues to a distillery, a secret base for federal agents. This is where they saw the one-eyed man. A year ago, the feds received a distress call. When they arrived, the one-eyed man was on the ground with a gunshot wound to the head. They used alpha gel to repair the wound. That's what saved his life. The next step in their joint investigation of the Golden Circle. The woman looks harmless enough, but she's actually the head of the cartel. If someone doesn't do what she says, she'll shove them through a meat grinder. Then she makes delicious burgers for her men. Responds Poppy, in order to control the global flour market, developed a mysterious virus and added it to her own flour, causing many people to be infected. Infected people are divided into 3 stages. First, their veins turn blue. Next, they go into an unconscious frenzy. In the end, they will be paralyzed until they die. Poppy, with the exclusive antidote in her hand, she threatened the president to legalize it. Otherwise, tens of millions of people will die. The president agreed on the surface, but secretly, he locked up all the infected people. The agents on the other side are not idle. They tapped into the phone calls of the victims. They found out that the antidote was stored at a ski resort. Federal agents immediately sent Exie and drug addict to steal the antidote, along with Merlin. Soon the 3 of them arrived at the ski resort. The one-eyed man took care of the control room and got control of the gondola. Exie and Merlin took the gondola to the top of the mountain. With the help of command, they managed to find the entrance to the lab. Exie pretended to be a buyer, but he was discovered by Charlie. He took a bottle of antidote and left the lab quickly. By the time Charlie came out, they had already escaped on the cable car. They thought the mission was accomplished, but Charlie hacked into the control system and made the cable car rotate at high speed. The powerful centrifugal force pressed them against the glass. Merlin took out his lightning whip and made a hole in the glass, and he snapped the cable. The cable car crashes down the snowy mountain and heads for the vacation home below at breakneck speed. In a panic, Exie pushed Merlin into the hole and pulled the parachute from his back and stops just before the crash.
That's the first decent shit I've had in 3 weeks.
Soon the 3 of them met up at the cabin. That's when Merlin realized the enemy was coming. He pushed Exie out of the way, but the antidote fell to the ground and shattered. All that work for nothing. Angrily, Merlin rushed out. He took out 2 pistols and started his show. He shot 1 person at a time, then he spun on the spot and easily finished off his pursuers before returning to the cabin. But he didn't expect reinforcements to arrive. But at this critical moment, the one-eyed man attacked Merlin because he suspected him of being a traitor. And outside, the enemy attacked. They were shooting at the cabin with Gatling guns. The one-eyed man took out a bottle of perfume. He threw it outside after a flash of blue light. All the enemies were instantly turned into ice sculptures, although Eggsy used the gel to save Merlin's life. But the mission failed, and the base where the antidote was stored was blown up by Charlie. Luckily, Bald had found Poppy's lair. After choosing the right equipment, Eggsy, One Eye, and Baldhead went there. Suddenly, Eggsy stepped on something and opened it up to see that it was a landmine. The man seems to have stepped on something. Peeled open and saw that it was a mine. Baldhead used freezing spray to temporarily freeze the trigger device. Then he pushed Eggsy away and stepped on it himself. It turns out that the spray only has a 1-second effect. Eggsy's father once saved Baldy's life. Now he's ready to return the favor. He told the two to leave or they would all die. After they left, Baldy knew there was no chance of survival, so he exposed his position on purpose. When the enemy approached, he let go of his foot and detonated the mine. He witnessed the death of his teammates with his own eyes. This made Eggsy and One Eye furious. They used the umbrella as cover and went straight into Thorne's old man. Eggsy pulls out his assault rifle and fires it at the enemy. And then the box turned into a bazooka. And blew them away. When they ran out of bullets, they turned the box into a shield with a high-definition display. They beat the enemy back. Sister Jing saw that the situation is not good. She told Charlie to take the code box that controls the antidote and go first. Eggsy rushed after him. One Eye stayed behind to deal with the machines. Soon Eggsy blocked Charlie's path, but his arm was wrapped around the pillar. Charlie yanked on the concrete pillar and broke it instantly. After getting up, Eggsy quickly counterattacked. He found a chance to give Charlie a kick. He grabbed the control box and ran away, but Charlie caught up with him. A steel punch puts him down again. Charlie picked up a bowling ball and tried to finish him off, but he didn't realize it. Eggsy used a high-tech watch to control the robotic arm. Without his arm, Charlie became a salted fish and was pressed to the ground and rubbed. In the end, Eggsy rode on him and broke his neck. On the other hand, the one-eyed man was forced into the transformation room. He overturns the gold solution next to him, destroying the mechanical dog. Then the two of them found Poppy and asked her to give up the code to the control box. Naturally, Poppy wouldn't agree. They pinned her down and injected him with a virus. She had no choice but to give up the code and then fell to the ground and died. But just as the one-eyed man was entering the code, suddenly he was forced to put his neck in a noose. It turns out his wife and son died at the hands of the hidden gentleman, so he had to stop them. So he's going to stop them from getting to the antidote, so that all the hidden gentlemen will die. Eggsy used the light from his watch to interface with his vision. The one-eyed man took the opportunity to shoot off his pistol. Merlin reacted by activating the whip. Luckily, the one-eyed man was able to release the restraints in time. With the whip, Merlin is invincible. The one-eyed man can only come forward to fight in close quarters. He took the opportunity to knock out the whip in his hand. Merlin was no match for the two of them and was soon overwhelmed and was eventually stuffed into the meat grinder. And that was the end of the crisis. Eggsy then entered the code. The antidote was distributed by drone. All the patients were back to normal, and Eggsy becomes famous and marries his girlfriend. And that's the end of the movie.